Hello everyone. In the last video, we had already seen scalar product and vector product. In today's video, we are going to understand the components of vector, the component form of vector. Now, let me firstly ask you a question and understand why did we need this component form of vector. The world that we see is a three-dimensional space. The things that we touch, the things that are around us, they are all in 3D, three-dimensional. So we needed a three-dimensional representation of vectors, and that's where the component form came from. As you all know that we have three axes, three coordinate axes. One is x, one is y, and one is z. In the traditional physics sense, the axes are represented in this way. Please view this clearly. Here, this is the z axis, this is the y axis, and this is the x axis. Now, the z axis is going upwards, the y axis is going rightwards, and the x axis is coming out of this plane. I hope you understand. Now, to represent any vector, suppose I have to represent 5 units down y coordinate, so I need some unit vector. Now your question would be, what is a unit vector? So let me answer that as well. So unit vector is any vector which has magnitude 1, any vector which has magnitude 1, which has magnitude 1. So now, if somehow I know that what is the unit vector in the direction of y, then I could say that 5 and unit vector, so that will represent 5 units along y coordinate. So these unit vectors are named, sorry for that, named as I cap, j cap, and k cap, where I cap is the unit vector in x axis, j cap is the unit vector in y axis, and k cap is the unit vector in z axis. In David J. Griffith's book, they are represented as x cap, y cap, and z cap. Both of them are right in their own. You can use any one of them. I would be using both of them sometimes. So let's move on. Now the question is, how do we use and how does this representation work? So let me explain it to you with an example. Suppose this is a coordinate system. Here is the y-axis, here is the z-axis, and here comes the x-axis. So in this coordinate system, if someone tells you that give me a vector, which is something like 3i cap plus 4j cap plus 2k cap. So you would go 3i cap basically somewhere here. Now 4j cap basically somewhere here. So you would get a hint, okay, this is the vector on the xy plane. Now 2k cap, basically 2 in the direction of z. So basically you would get a vector somewhere above the plane, 2 units above the plane. In the x direction it would be 3 units away from the origin. In the y direction it would be 4 units away from the origin. So this is the way we represent our vectors in component form. Let me write the heading. If you are taking notes, you can take the notes. This is the component form of vectors. I hope it's clear. Now, next thing is that how do we use this component form in adding, subtracting, dividing, and doing different things with the vectors. So let us see. In the last lecture, I had only told you about multiplication of vectors, addition, subtraction of vectors in a Woj form. I did not actually do it. I just told you that this is the way we do it. But today we will see how we actually do it when some vector is given us in this form. So let us try. So if we have to do addition of vectors, suppose you are given two vectors. Here a vector is a vector which is 1 I cap minus 3 j cap plus 2 k cap, and here we have one more vector, b vector. Yeah, here is one more vector, 2 I cap plus 3 j cap minus 7 k cap. So now when you have to add these two vectors, you are asked here a vector plus b vector is something that is being asked to you. So what would you answer? So you would simply answer adding their respective unit vectors. Like here, x-axis, the vector would go to 3 I cap due to 1 I cap from here and 2 I cap from here. In the y axis, it would become 0. So we would write 0 j cap, which is not required. You can even leave this if you want. And in the k cap direction, basically in the z direction, we would write 5 k cap. I hope this is understandable. Now let's move on to the multiplication by scalar. Suppose you are asked to multiply 3 with vector a in the given problem. So you would simply write here 3 in bracket I cap minus 3 j cap plus 2 k cap. I hope it's clear till now. Now, as I had told you in the last video, that you have to take this with every component of the vector. So we multiply this 3 with every component of the vector. So here we get 3 I cap minus 9 j cap plus 6 k cap. Do this by yourself, 3 b cap, and write the answer in the comments. Now suppose we have to do cross product of a vector and b vector. Suppose we have to do the cross product of a vector and b vector. In this particular case, what we will do, we will firstly write here a vector I cap minus 3 j cap plus 2 k cap. I hope it's clear. Now we will write the b vector and put a dot between them. Remember why I told you we put this dot? This dot is to make us understand that we are doing the dot product, which is going to give a scalar as an answer. Now let's move on. 2 I cap plus 3 j cap minus 7 k cap. Now when we multiply these two, suppose I am taking I cap with all others. In this case, I cap into 2 I cap. So as I had told you that when we multiply, when we do dot product, so we have to do the magnitude of, multiply the magnitude of both the vectors and take the cos of angles between them. So here I cap and I cap. So here it would be 2 I cap into I cap. Again, when we move further, it would be plus I cap into 3 j cap. Now let us do these two first. So here I cap and I cap, both of them have a angle 0 degree with them. Why? Because both are in the direction of x. So here what would be the answer? It would be simply 2. Why? Because since cos 0 degree is 1. I hope you understand till now. This would be 0. This would be 0. And why this would be 0? Because I cap and j cap, I cap is in the direction of x and j cap is in the direction of y. So when we multiply I cap and j cap, there will be 90 degree between these two vectors, these two unit vectors. So we will get answer 0. In the similar way, when we would multiply I cap with k cap, we would get the answer 0. Now when we multiply minus 3 j cap with 2 I cap, again the answer would be 0. When we multiply minus 3 j cap with plus 3 j cap, we would get the answer minus 9. Similarly, you can understand when we will multiply with 2 k cap, these two will yield a 0 and this will yield a minus 14. I hope you understand. I can give you a generic formula, although I think that most of you would have understood it, but let me also give you a generic formula here. Suppose there are two vectors ax I cap plus ay j cap plus az k cap, and you have to take the dot product of this particular vector with other vector, which is bx I cap plus by j cap plus bz k cap. So the answer of this would be simply ax bx plus ay by plus az bz. I hope this is clear. Now let's move on to the cross product. So how do we do the cross product? Let's turn the page and then we will look into the cross product. Okay, we have seen addition of vectors, multiplication of vector by scalar, multiplication of two vectors, that is the dot product. Now we are going to see the scalar product. What are we going to see now? Now we are going to see the scalar product. Sorry, the vector product. Now we are going to see the vector product. So let's put it up to you. Now we will take two other vectors. Let me have p vector, which is 2 I cap plus 7 j cap minus 2 k cap, and let me have q vector, which is 3 I cap minus 2 j cap plus 4 k cap. Now you have been asked to find the cross product of p vector and q vector. Let's write these two vectors here. So 2 I cap plus 7 j cap minus 2 k cap, and we take cross product of this along with 3 I cap, 2 j cap, and 4 k cap. I hope it's clear till now. Now, when we are taking the cross product, what we would do? We would do the similar thing that we did in the case of dot product. 2I, it's cross with 3I cap. It's cross with 3I cap. Again, we would do 2I cap. It's cross product with minus 2j cap. Again, what we would do? 2I cap, and its cross product with 4k cap. I hope you understand till now. Now we will just solve three of them first. After that, we will move on to j cap, and k cap. So let's try this out. So remember what I told you about the vector product, that when we have to find out the vector product, then we take the magnitudes and the sign of angle between the two vectors. So here these two unit vectors have angle 0. So sine 0 is 0. So this would be 0. Now I cap plus I cap into minus j cap you have to do. What you have to do is that you have to multiply here I cap minus j cap. Firstly, let's write the product of these magnitudes. So product of magnitudes would be 4. Let's find out the product or the vector product of these two vectors, that is I cap and minus j cap. So tell me what is the direction of I cap. I cap would be outside the, something like this, outside the plane, outside the surface. And where would be minus j cap? It would be, I cap would be this way. And where would be j cap? J cap would be, in the direction of y, something like this. So it would give me a direction minus k cap. What direction it would give me? It would give me a direction minus k cap. So that I would write here 0 minus 4 k cap. I hope it's clear till now. Now let's move on to other two. But don't you think this is a bit longer, and we must need a short method to do this? So a shorter method to do p cross q is a determinant that you have to solve. Something like this. Here would be I cap, here would be j cap, here would be k cap. And suppose there are two vectors, so you would write the component of x component of p over here, y component of p over here, and z component of p over here. And down, you will write the x component of q, y component of q, and z component of q. If you solve this determinant, you would get p cross q. Now take this as a challenge for you. Solve this by this way and solve this question by this way. Find the answer of this question by these two different ways and write down in the comments what answer you got. If you would be right, I would tell you, and if you would be wrong, I would tell you that as well. So please try out these problems. I had also given you a problem in the last page, so please try that out as well. This is it for the video. Thank you for watching it, and please put your suggestions in comments that what I can improve in my videos. Thank you very much.